Hey guys, this is just going to be my first and I don't know, maybe one of first or only, I don't know, work in progress video for my SD Zaku that I'm doing this build off with Simon over at Gundam UK. And I wasn't really sure if I was going to do a work in progress video based on my first idea, but I've actually decided to basically totally change my idea. I was planning to do it like a Uma Lightning, just custom for this. I just had ordered some Uma Lightning decals, and I was just going to paint it in that like white, blue, and black color scheme, and maybe do a little modifying on the backpack, and then that's pretty much it, and then adding a V-fin. But I've basically decided to just totally scrap that idea. I'll use the decals for some other kit later on down the line. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I don't want to give it away right now. Just because I want it to be a surprise and basically just see if any of you guys can figure it out before I actually say anything about it too exactly. But I'll tell you a little bit just about just what I'm going to do, and then if any of you guys figure it out, then cool. Anyway, alright, so let's see. First thing is I'm going to get rid of these spikes on the shoulder and just make it round. And I think maybe get rid of the edge around it and just make it just like totally round. So basically that'll just be cutting off the pegs and then just putty all around there and have to do a lot of filing and sanding to get that to just a round shape there. Then for this side, I think what I'm going to do is take the bazooka and basically mount it. I'll cut off basically all of this I'm not totally 100% sure on yet, but this is just what I'm thinking now at the moment. I'm going to cut off the front two handles so it's just the one peg, and drill a hole in the back of the shield to just peg this into the back of the shield. Then it's going to be, it'll be more farther forward, but something like that basically, so that the shield can just be turned forward like that to fire the bazooka forward, if you get what I'm saying there. So that's going to be pretty simple to do that. Then I think might also mount the axe to the side of the shield, the heat hawk. That will be pretty simple too. Probably just going to be just drilling a hole there and adding a little bit of a peg. I'll just cut a piece off of a runner, just add a peg there that can then just plug into that main hollow part there. So it'll be really easy to just plug that onto the shield. Even if I don't do that, it still would be a good idea to do for a future kit or something. So that's that. To solve the problem with the hands, now I mentioned in the review that the hands fit in there a little strangely, and I think I have a solution of what I want to do to solve that. I'll try to get this apart here first. Alright, so here as you can see, this is how the hand just plugs in there. So you just have to put it in like that and then close the outside around it. But what I think I'm going to do is just make that just a peg, not like this kind of like shape that needs to fit in there. Make it just a normal peg. Then for the arm, just going to take a piece of 2mm plot plate, so pretty thick plot plate, and just add another layer to this. So just build it up, just one more layer here on the end. Then I'll just have to sand that smooth, and that'll actually lengthen the arm just a little bit. Then drill a hole in there so then that this hand will just be able to just peg straight into there. I could just do that now as it is, just have it peg into there, but I do want to make this arm part a little bit longer. So I'll just add just a 2mm plate onto there, and just make it so the hand can just plug straight into there. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the arms. For the feet, I'm a little bit on the fence at the moment as to what I want to do for these. I'm thinking one way, rather than like filling this in, and it's not just because I don't want to fill it in, that would be really simple to do, but rather than filling that in, I'm thinking what I want to do is just cut off all this outside part. So basically all that will be left, let me get something more precise to point with, all that will be left will just be this part that's detailed. So then this outside layer around here will all be cut off, so like the black part of the foot will be smaller. So you can see it will just be just this smaller shape. So that will most notably, the sides, I mean, won't be too different, because you can see it's just a little bit around the outside. There's a lot more that it sticks out here on the front, so that will get rid of the front of the foot sticking out quite a bit there. That will be changed quite a bit. It'll be much farther in, but I think that's what I want to do. If not, whether I do that or don't do that, I know I definitely am going to be adding a couple pieces to the front of the foot. You guys will see, I don't really know how well I can really describe it without giving away exactly what it is, and like I said, I don't want to do that yet, so I'll just show you guys once I have that done. That is, I guess, pretty much it that I can talk about at the moment now. I just want to go ahead and get started on doing some of that stuff, and then I'll come back and show you guys how the progress is going so far. The paint scheme then is not going to be the Uma Lightning paint scheme anymore. It's going to be just mostly tones of gray for the most part, which I know you guys are probably sick of seeing. A lot of my kits recently are just all gray. I promise I'll paint a kit very soon that's not like mostly all grays. That's just how the kits I've been doing recently have been coming out, but yeah, I guess that's just what I like. But anyway, so yeah, also going to be I think adding a little bit of a layer to make the gap for the mono eye, the height of that gap a little bit thinner. So I think basically just adding a plot plate, piece of plot plate underneath the gap there, just along here, to make that gap a little bit thinner. I don't think I'm going to be adding anything on the bottom. Maybe, but probably just on the top, I think. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. Let me come back in just a moment. No time is going to pass in the video, but obviously I'm going to take some time to work on some of that stuff, so hang on. Alright, so it's now been a couple weeks since I filmed the part that you were just watching, and now this SD Zaku is pretty much ready for paint. There might be a little bit more cleanup left to do, but as you can see, the backpack doesn't really quite stay on totally yet. That'll be okay. But I've done quite a lot of changes to this, so a lot of just really small things, just a little bit of additions here and there, and all of that. So yeah, let's just go over everything that I did. So the first thing, I guess we'll just start here on the shield. I just added this strip of plot plate around the shield. Bring this up a little bit closer for you. Added a strip around the outside. Just used the pin set to just make a few like holes in there. This is a parts set. I was thinking about using the bazooka, but the bazooka that came with the kit, but ended up using this parts set weapon. It had a handle on it, just cut off the handle. That's just glued onto the shield so that it can just be stored like this, and then for firing it's not actually going to hold that. It's just we're just going to turn the shield forward, and then like that, there we go. Then it can fire that cannon. So it's kind of mounted there on the shoulder, pretty cool. On the other shoulder I puttied all around that with just polyester putty at first, and then had to do some cleanup, had to add a little bit more just regular white putty. Then use the pin set again to just drill these little holes, not totally holes, but just little divots there going around the lower edge of that. Rounded the edge down a little bit, so you know the edge had that like little lip going up. Just sort of sanded that down to make it pretty round here on the shoulder parts. Otherwise it's exactly the same. This little shield, just scratch built, just from plot plate, so nothing really too fancy there. If I take this off, what I did was basically just drill out this part on the arm. Let's show you on the other arm. You can see it should just be just a space like that. On this side, just drilled it out, and then just added a little peg on the inside of the shield, and the back side is just totally plain. There's nothing going on there, and then that just plugs into the arm. Just really simple there. And then for the arms themselves, as you can see, let me take this one off, I'll show you. I lengthened the arms slightly, as I was talking about before. So just added a 2mm thick plate of plot plate on there. Putty on the front, so there's these kind of line details on the side, just the one there. On the front I just wanted to get rid of that, so just putty in those lines there. The hand, because I covered up the hole with this piece of plot plate, just had to drill that out. Just drill a hole, just make a new peg here for the hand, because before it was just that kind of piece, not an actual peg. So cut that off, added just this peg instead, and then it just plugs into there. Easy peasy. Here in the front we can see we have these two sort of sword handles. If you know what this is, then you'll know what that is, I guess. I still don't want to reveal exactly, I don't want to say, I'm sure a lot of you can probably guess at this point, but I'll just kind of reveal that in the final video or next work in progress, I don't know. And then these little grenades on the side skirts, just scratch built those, just a piece of peg with, sorry, a piece of just runner. And then a little bit of plot plate on the edge of there, and then those are just super glued on there, so those aren't removable at all. But that should be okay. Got rid of the seam line here on the side of the kit. Probably not really all that necessary. No one's ever really going to see that one too much, I don't think. Now on the feet, basically just cut off this part around the edge here. I would have liked to cut more around here, but this part on the side is actually kind of necessary to hold the foot together. So couldn't really cut too much more off. And then just added the little, I'm not really sure what you would call those, sort of toe things, kind of to stabilize, kind of that they'll like mount down into the ground, if you know what I mean. Just added a couple little divots here with the pin set again there on the front skirt and here up on the chest as well. The head is relatively simple. Here on the back, where the energy cable plugs into the back, just added just a little kotobukiya parts here. It's just from this set, O-bolt. So you can see it's just a new set. I just started using it. Just took a couple off there. Just to fill that hole in the back. On the front, use these extra little parts. These were from an RG kit, an RG RX-78 Gundam kit. Just on the front of that, got rid of the seam line here on the nose. On this part, just 2mm thick plot plate up under this part to make that eye gap narrower, but still functions. That still comes up, so you can see it just, there's that part. So just had to glue that up underneath there, just a little putty and sanding to make it smooth. Again, we'll see once this gets primed, we'll see how much more cleanup I'll have to do, probably a little bit more. But that's pretty much it for the body. And then the backpack is basically, I added 6mm in depth of the plot, in depth for the backpack, so you can see the dark part is the backpack. All this white part there is all just three pieces of 2mm plot plate, so 6mm added to that to make the backpack stick out more, out the back more. Just a couple of kotobukiya option parts there on the top, these little bars there on the side. The red parts are extra parts from the HD Tryon 3, parts from a Double Zeta. And then these fuel pods, fuel tanks are just, again, just option parts. They were like much longer, had to cut them shorter to make them fit to the SD scale that I wanted for this. And then this just piece on the top, just sort of an odd extra other random piece from the Amazing Red Warrior MG. So that had a bunch of extra little parts just to sort of add something else onto there. So again, just had to drill holes in here to make this fit onto the back. It fits right and it's okay, but it's definitely a little bit loose, so I'll just have to glue that later. Even though this is serving no actual function because it's not having its machine gun, I am just going to keep that machine gun ammo part on the back skirt just in case, or not just in case, but just because is what I want to say. So that's pretty much it. It's ready to go and get some prime and paint action going, and that's pretty much it. So here's what we're gonna be working with so far. I'm sure some of you can easily identify this at this point of what this is supposed to be based on and what I'm going to be going for the color scheme with for this. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any other questions or comments about this, leave those down below or contact me on Twitter or Facebook. Otherwise, we'll see a little bit more of this shortly. Hopefully I'll be painting it pretty soon. Should be relatively simple, but I do want to try to do a good job painting this. And then what is going to become with it after that, I'm not sure if I'm going to just be doing some sort of giveaway for it, or maybe I have someone in particular in mind that I do want to give it to already. I don't know, but I will be giving it away in some manner, I'm sure. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.